People who got pregnant. As a teen, what happened? My dad admitted he wished he pulled out from my mom, but he couldn't resist. He said he was only 17 years old when he had me, and it was all a mistake. That I was the reason he was depressed, alone, and broke. Thanks to him, I grew up hating myself. Like my life was one big joke born out of a horny boy's mistake. I didn't value my life in the slightest, so I chased substances and pleasures, which lead to me getting pregnant at 16. When I saw those double lines, I freaked out. I cried in the bathroom for days. All I knew was that I couldn't tell my dad. Things would only get worse between him and I. So I went to my grandmother, who in my eyes was always my guardian angel. She was my mom's mom, and my mom left when I was a baby, so she was the only connection I had to that whole side of the family. She never liked my dad, said he abandoned my mom when she was pregnant, then showed up years later acting like a hero when it was already too late. As soon as he showed up, my mom left me. Grandma refuses to tell me why. Still, when I told her I was pregnant, she didn't yell. She didn't look disappointed. She hugged me. She said she'd help me figure it out. We agreed that I'd hide the pregnancy, stay in school, and once the baby was born, we'd make a plan. Her house was too small, and my dad would never let me live with her, so we agreed on something kind of crazy. I'd keep the baby in our basement. I know how that sounds, but it wasn't some dirty, dark place. We cleared out a space, added a heater, and blankets and supplies. My boyfriend Liam would come by through the side door when my dad was working. He brought diapers, formula, whatever we needed. It wasn't perfect, but we were surviving. I hid my pregnancy by staying as far away from my dad as possible, and because he was so emotionally absent, it really wasn't hard. My baby Noah born in secret at my grandma's house. I didn't go to the hospital. We had a retired nurse help with it, someone my grandma knew from church. After that, I took care of my son every night in the basement while my dad thought I was doing homework or watching TV. I was exhausted all the time. Liam helped when he could, but he was working too. We were waiting until I turned 17 so we could get a place together and be free. But then everything exploded one night in the middle of January. The furnace broke and the house was freezing. My dad was trying to find the space heaters, and I knew before he even opened the basement door that this was it. I heard him go down there. Then I heard silence, then footsteps back up the stairs, but slower. When he came into the kitchen, he was holding a tiny sock in his hand, and his face looked like he'd seen a ghost. He didn't yell. He just asked, "Whose baby is in my house?" I wanted to lie, but I couldn't. I told him the truth, and he lost it. He was pacing and shouting and saying, "You ruined your life, and how could you do this in my house? And is this what I worked my butt off for?" I told him I was leaving, taking my baby and going to grandma's. He tried to stop me, but I was done. I left that night with my baby in a car seat and my grandma waiting in the driveway. The next few weeks were awful. My dad didn't call. I didn't call him. Grandma was stressed out. She blamed him for everything. She said if he'd just shown me grace, maybe I wouldn't have felt like I had to hide. But I knew part of it was my fault too. I didn't trust him to tell him the truth. I had just assumed he'd hate me the way he seemed to hate himself. Then it got worse. Liam's parents found out. His mom even offered to pay him to walk away and leave me. She told him she'd give enough so he could go to college out of state and start fresh. But he said no. He chose to stay. My dad somehow found out, and to my surprise, he said he respected Liam for that. I think he just saw his younger self in Liam, but maybe a version of him that could do better. Things were almost looking up for a while. My dad seemed to accept Noah when we spoke over the phone, but then my grandma had a heart attack. It was minor, but it was enough to scare me. I had to go back to my dad's house. There wasn't anywhere else. He didn't say much at first, just set up the crib in my room and went back to work. And for a few months, things were okay. My baby was growing, my dad was more involved, and Liam was as present as a dad in his situation could be. But then it happened. We were trying to rebuild something one night when CPS showed up. Someone had reported an unfit environment for an infant. All hell broke loose. My grandma thought my dad did it. My dad thought grandma did it. They argued in front of the social worker about it. It was a mess. The worker had to get them to calm down. We sat down with her soon after and explained everything. The entire history. The full truth of how Noah got here. And that's when she revealed something that made my jaw drop. The person who reported us wasn't grandma or my dad. It was Liam's mom. She wanted the baby taken away so Liam wouldn't have to ruin his life. The case is currently ongoing, and I have no idea what to do. The full story where the case continues is on my channel and linked below.